After 5 long months of no Bulls games, an interesting offseason where the Bulls have pivoted to a new direction and a new iteration of their roster, Bulls basketball is back, albeit the preseason, but still a Bulls game nonetheless, and the Bulls were able to secure a win, a comeback win where they started out pretty shaky to start the game and fell behind by as many as 15 points even into the second half, but in a game that went down to the wire, the Bulls were able to close things out before they head back home and play their first preseason game at the United Center on Saturday against the Memphis Grizzlies. And look, while I don't like to make sweeping conclusions after one game, and especially a preseason game at that, but there were some things that stood out to me from this game, things that I liked and did not like, and I would love to hear what you guys thought about the game in the comments as well. So what's going on, everyone? You were listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. Now, I'm going to start with the things that I did like seeing from this game, and really the most obvious was rookie Buzelis. I mean, even aside from just looking at the box score numbers where he put up 12 points on 4 for 9 shooting, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block in 21 minutes of play, what was more impressive to me was that he was getting after it on both ends of the floor, and above all, looked ready for the moment, ready to play at this level. I mean, a lot of people were talking about after the Bulls drafted him, like, okay, a good pick, but it's going to take him a few years before he really arrives. A very raw prospect that has a lot of work to do. But man, the kid can play. That was abundantly clear in just his first preseason game. Again, I know we have to add the preseason qualifier to this. I know it's just one game. We can easily come back here after the second game and say, all right, maybe he wasn't ready, but he just looked very comfortable out there for a 19-year-old kid. Was making the right plays, was aggressive, plays with confidence and determination. I think what was more impressive to me was Modest's defense. Like, I knew he wasn't going to be a net negative on that end of the floor. I knew that he could play on that side of the ball, which is what made his potential so intriguing coming into the draft, but he moves his feet really well, is able to navigate quickly on switches, push through screens. He contests well without fouling. I think Stacey King said this on the broadcast, but what's great about Modest is he plays big, but can move like a guard, which is such a coveted player in today's NBA. He uses his length to his advantage in being a deterrent at the bucket, but you also can't easily drive on him because he's got great lateral footwork to follow you and stay with you. So anyway, I know it's just one game, but I'm already on the Modest hype train based on what we saw from him today. Going to be a lot different once he starts playing in the regular season against higher caliber rotations, but we'll see how that comes once the regular season kicks off. Other things I like seeing. How about Jalen Smith? Jalen Smith was very solid in his first outing with the Bulls. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well, which is why the Bulls were eager to sign him as a stretch big to help space the floor, but finished at the rim well and boxed out and rebounded well. Finished with a double-double in 17 minutes, hustled down the floor, was agile with his footwork in the post. I liked what I saw from Jalen, better than expected anyway. How about Ayo? I mean, Ayo was great coming off the bench, almost trying to make a case for why he should be in the starting lineup. Same with Buzelis for that matter. Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips were both solid in how they showed up, really on both ends, bringing a lot of energy and speed and keeping up the pace. Oh, and Coby White was picking up right where he left off last season, still just as smooth. Those handles are tight, better IQ, improved court vision. Coby already seems to have adjusted and playing more as an off-ball guard with Giddey leading the charge at point. 21 points on 7 for 15 shooting from Coby White. Also, I saw a lot of people kind of ripping into Josh Giddey as being a disappointment in this first game. I wouldn't say it was a great game by any means, but it wasn't terrible either. Maybe it was that wide open airball 3 that stood out to most people and they just kind of latched onto that. And yeah, Giddey didn't shoot the ball well, but we already knew that was one of his biggest weaknesses anyway. But what I did appreciate seeing from Giddey is that he was active on defense, actually made a few nice defensive plays to get some stops, and he did what the Bulls brought him in to do. He pushed the pace in transition, a big guard that can rebound and get the outlet pass to start the break. 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal in 22 minutes. Also, only 1 turnover, no fouls. Just didn't think it was an awful game or showing from Giddey that some fans were making it out to be. For Vucevic, I mean, he was Vooch. 12 points, 10 rebounds, 6 for 10, still can't shoot threes. I mean, it was an okay game for Vucevic. I think the thing that still gets me is that he just does not seem to care out there. Dude does not want to be there. And when I see him putting up a 3, when he has a guy like Buzelis open down low, he's just in that mode of, yeah, whatever, I'm going to put this up. I would say the two things that I didn't like seeing in this opening game was what we saw from Zach Lavine and Patrick Williams. Pat turned the ball over in that very first possession of the game, wasn't as active and engaged on defense to start off the game where the Cavs went up 8-0 quickly, wasn't finishing shots that were easy near the bucket. He was trying to be a little more aggressive and taking his man to the basket, but it doesn't really matter all that much when you can't finish or you're turning turning the ball over because you plow into the defender and get hit with an offensive foul. 4 points for Pat, 3 turnovers, minus 18 in 13 minutes of play. And then Zach Lavine, I mean, I know that when you're a veteran and you're playing in the preseason, it can be tough to try and get motivated and play with the same sense of energy and competitiveness. But for Zach Lavine, this should be a little different in the sense that he's coming off a big injury. He's trying to repair his reputation from a weird, awkward, and down season last year, and he's trying to get traded. You would think he would come out and treat this game like a playoff game. And I'm not saying he didn't try, because he was active, but he just didn't look that great. To be honest, it looked kind of like the Zach Lavine we saw last season before he got injured. Not really making the best plays, seemingly can't finish at the basket, which he's always been so great at, and even his three-point shot isn't falling like it used to. Probably because he's still doing a lot of these weird step back contested threes from 3 or 4 feet behind the arc. Yeah, I just didn't like what I saw from Zach. I know both him and Pat played in very limited minutes. They didn't even start the second half, but I need to see Zach Lavine be a little more hyper focused on everything, really, to show that he does want what's best for the team and just play smart team basketball. I mean, honestly, the other thing I didn't like seeing in this game is how poorly the Bulls shot the ball, which was to be expected, so I can't really say I was surprised by it. 8 for 40 from deep. I guess good on them for getting the attempts up, but when it leads to a lot of one-and-done possessions, yeah, that's not so great. And then the Bulls also gave up a lot of second chance points, more than I would care to see, where the Cavs were getting second, third, and sometimes even fourth chances to score. That can't happen once the regular season kicks off. But really, I mean, outside of that, I would say there were more things that I like seeing in this game, and thought it went better than expected given the circumstances of where this team is. I will say the starting lineup against the Cavs starting lineup was not good, which is more concerning because those are the matchups we're going to see come the regular season, not these deep 12-13 man rotations that look better than the other team's deep bench and two-way guys. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the game. The Bulls get the win. Let me know in the comments. As always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.